Product specifications are subject to change without notice for quality improvement, etc. For exact understanding, we recommend you to watch this video with catalog or manual. Unlike general ATS, an open-type transfer switch, closed transition transfer switch, CTTS, is a closed-type transfer switch. When the common use and standby power are normally supplied, the general ATS will generate momentary power failure during transfer. However, the CTTS can select both power sources without load interruption by switching to an instant parallel operation within 100 milliseconds, in accordance with synchronous transfer conditions. To operate under an uninterruptible synchronous transfer condition, the CTTS dedicated controller detects the voltage, frequency, and phase angle of both power sources and controls the CTTS under appropriate synchronous conditions. The main body of the CTTS consists of a manual lever input port, on-off indicators on the A and B power sides, and a neutral position manual lever input port. The current product is in neutral position state with A and B switched off. Let me explain the manual operation of the CTTS main body. Currently, both power sources of the CTTS are in the off state. If you want to turn on the A side using manual operation, insert the manual operation lever into the A power side manual handle input port in an arrow direction. Next, I will switch it off in the A input state. If you insert the manual operation lever into neutral position manual handle input port, push to trip, and lift it, the CTTS will be in the off state. Next, I will transfer to the B side while the device is in the off state. If you insert the manual operation lever into the B power manual handle input port in an arrow direction, you can insert it into the B side. Currently, you can operate it in the off state in the B side input state, but manual A side input is impossible. Manual operation with an inappropriate phase is protected by a mechanical interlock safety device. Next, I will transfer to off state in B input state. If you insert the manual operation lever into the neutral position manual handle input port, push to trip, you can transfer the product to the off state. In the off state, you can manually insert to A or B side. Let me explain the CTTS 801 controller. This controller is a CTTS 801 model, which can automatically or manually control the CTTS. This product provides the CTTS with an uninterruptible power transfer function by matching voltage, frequency, and phase to commercial and emergency power. Let's take a look at the LCD display of this product. The voltage and frequency of the A power source side are displayed. The voltage and frequency of the B power source side are displayed. It shows that there is currently no power source. When the B side emergency power is supplied, the B power side voltage and frequency status are displayed. On the first LCD screen, the up or down arrow button is for the transition to other screens for more information. The screen now shows the input-output status. The screen now shows an abnormal status of the A and B side power sources in Korean. Abnormal status of power sources is shown when there is an over-voltage, under-voltage, over-frequency, under-frequency, open phase, and negative sequence. When the power source is set as a 3-phase 4-wire system, the R, S, or T phase is displayed for each A, B. In this video, a single-phase power source is used, and the 3-phase power source condition is not shown. Let's talk about the manual operation of the CTTS 801's controller. This shows the manual operation when the automatic green lamp is off. Now, the A power green power input lamp is switched on. This shows that the common power source normally receives the power. The B power red power input lamp is switched on. This shows that the emergency power source normally receives the power. Now, the CTTS is in use. Switch to the A-side power source. Let's do the manual operation to change the status and to get the A-side to open. Under the status of A-side input, push the manual A-side button for half a second or longer for the manual change to open. If you wish to get the A-side input again, push the manual A-side button to change it manually. Under the normal power input status of both power sources, for the switching from A to B, use the A manual button and open the A side. Then, use the B manual button for the B side emergency power source input. Under the normal power input status of both power sources, to uninterruptedly switch the A common use power source to the manual B emergency one, directly push the B manual button to get the switching status without making the A power source open. The B input lamp is switched off, and switching standby status is displayed. Here, if the condition for voltage, frequency, and phase are met for both power sources, uninterruptible switching happens from the A side to the B side. Let's take another look. This time, it's the manual operation for uninterruptible switching from the B side to the A side. Under this status, push the A side button. Then, the A side input lamp is switched off to show the switching standby. On the LCD display, the scope with the gradation is found in the middle. This means that the phase condition is met for the manual operation for switching. Now, let's talk about the CTTS 801's automatic functions. Use the automatic or manual button to switch the automatic operation lamp on. Both power sources are receiving the power, and the current status is maintained based on the priority to the A side. At this point, if the A common use power source is interrupted, the display lamp is switched off. With the A side input lamp switched off, the open standby time is shown. After the standby time is over, the A side input status becomes open. Then, the B side input lamp is switched off, and the B side input standby time is shown. After the standby time is over, the B side is changed to input status. Here, when the power is supplied again to the A common use power source, it automatically and uninterruptedly switches to the A side. Let me explain the CTTS 801 setup. Setup is impossible in the automatic state. In the automatic state where the green lamp is on, the setup function does not work even if you press the setup button. As all settings influence the automatic operation state, setup change is only possible in the manual state. If you press the setup button for 2 seconds in the manual state after revoking the automatic operation button, you can switch to setup mode. You can proceed to the relevant setup state using the button on the right in your desired setup state. Let me explain the system setting. For system setting, you can select from single-phase and 3-phase voltage input states. Next, you can set the voltage. The set voltage indicates the rated voltage of the system. Currently, it is set at 220 volts. Next, you can set the voltage PT ratio. Enter the PT ratio if you received the voltage through PT. Next, you can set the frequency at 50 to 60 Hz. Next, you can set the power priority. If both power sources are used, you can set the priority power source and select from A power priority, B power priority, and no priority. Next is about the ATS connection state. Alarm setting. Status in firefighting activity. Automatic transfer during trip input. System date. System time. System language. You can set the display off time. If you have completed all the settings, you can return to the previous stage by pressing the setup button. Next, let me explain the timer setting. You can set the standby time where CTTS is automatically transferred from commercial to emergency and from emergency to commercial. First, you can set the A-side power input delay time. Next, you can set the A-side power open delay time. You can set the B-side power input delay time. You can set the B-side power open delay time. You can set the cooling time of the generator. You can set the cooling time of the generator without load. If you have completed all the settings, press the Setup button to complete the setting and return to initial screen.